Namaste and Siddhi Pranam. Welcome to your today's topic, which is physiological and emotional changes that occurs during the second trimester of the pregnancy. So, second trimester of the pregnancy is from the 13th to 28th week of pregnancy, and this pregnancy trimester would start counting from the 14th week and it lasts until the 27th week. So during this time, the pregnant woman's body really undergoes to some remarkable changes. And so let's dive into the physical changes that occurs in mother's body during this phase. So first of all, the growth of the uterus. So during the second trimester, the baby really overgrows, and as a result, the uterus has to expand, and it does. So this expansion can really cause a lot of discomfort and pressure on the bladder, and it can lead to urinate way more too much and very frequently for the mother. And then it also becomes very essential for the mother to stay hydrated because she's constantly urinating. And it's also important that, the amount of belly expansion can vary from woman to women. And some women may have a noticeable baby bump by the end of the second trimester, while others may have quite a lesser baby bump or just a spot out coming during the end of the second trimester. And, the expansion of the belly can cause physical discomfort for many women. And as the belly grows, the center of the gravity also will shift. And that will lead to more back pain, hip pain, and other kind of discomfort. So at this stage, it becomes very essential for mothers to really be in alignment with their body and listen to their body more while moving or doing day-to-day activities. Weight gain is another change that occurs during the second trimester, which is a sign of a healthy pregnancy, and as it indicates that the baby is growing well and it should ideally grow and the weight should be gained by the mother during this phase. However, at the same point in time, it becomes very important for the mother to monitor the weight gain closely with the help of doctors or healthcare providers that she's consulting with, because excessive weight gain can increase the risk of complications during pregnancy as well as during the time of delivery. So many women are actually scared of putting on weight during pregnancy, but fearing that they may not be able to lose the weight after the baby is born. But understanding that the weight gain is a very natural and necessary part of the pregnancy, and it's really essential for you to make some of your students who are not comfortable with weight gain to understand that yoga practice is not a tool to keep. It might be a tool to keep weight gain, too much excessive weight gain in check, but it's not a tool to stop gaining weight, because that's not the goal even. So, and during pregnancy, most women will actually gain about 25 to 35 pounds, or I would say from 12 to 15 or 16 kgs in weight. And most of this weight gain occurs in the second and the third trimester. So it's really important that we understand that the weight gain is kind of created equally during both the trimester, but most gain happens during the larger percentage happens during the third trimester, but a lot more also happens during the second trimester. So, while some of the weight gain is due to an increased body fat, but much of it is related to the growth and development of the baby, as well as the changes that are occurring in the mother's body. So, for example, the uterus and the breast enlarge during pregnancy, contributing to the weight gain. And also the body retains more fluid during pregnancy, which can also lead to weight gain. So we must really encourage, our students to focus on the health of themselves as well as of the baby, rather than focusing on the number on the scale. So we should keep in mind that a healthy weight gain is about 12 to 16 kgs, so around 3 to 4 kgs or 5 kg weight gain during the second trimester is quite normal, and during the last trimester gaining another, let's say, 6 to 8 kgs is also very, very normal. So rather than focusing on trying to lose weight or keep the weight check all the time, it's important that that we are just focusing on being healthy and eating healthy at this point in time, and staying active, taking yoga as a mode to stay active and keeping our stress levels and body's constriction level at check, rather than focusing on that it is a medium to lose weight or not gain weight. Then also breast changes that occurs at this point in time, and breast usually enlarges and they kind of become more sensitive, and it can be uncomfortable at times. So wearing a supportive bra during the yoga practice can also help elevate any kind of discomfort during this changes in the breast. So occasional fainting or faintness or dizziness can also be experienced by some women and during the second trimester, but this can be due to the changes that are occurring in blood pressure and blood sugar levels, and growing baby putting pressure on the blood vessels. So fainting or dizziness can be concerning experience, and really for pregnant women we must take necessary precautions to avoid any kind of injury. And as teachers, we really need to see the physical well-being of the mother. If she's feeling too tired or fatigue or sense of faintness during the class, it's really important that we put them to rest and promote sort of relaxation in their body and help them to regulate their blood pressure adequately. And it's also important that we do not make them stand for too long or too quickly or overexert them by any means during the yoga practice. Nasal congestion is also a common experience, and many women do experience nasal congestion during the pregnancy, particularly in the second trimester, and this can be due to hormonal changes that can cause swelling in the nasal passages and increase the blood flow to the mucous membranes. So nasal congestion can cause discomfort and usually difficulty in breathing, and especially during the sleep. So women can use kind of humidifier or saline nasal spray to help soothe dry and congested nasal passages. We can, as teachers, we can also guide them to practice gentle pranayamas such as alternative nostril breathing or deep breathing to help them clear the nasal passages and promote relaxation. Bleeding gum is another condition that occurs during this stage, where the gums can become more sensitive and prone to bleeding, which can be a source of discomfort for many women. And this also occurs due to hormonal changes that causes inflammation and increased blood flow to the gum. And pregnant women should take extra care of their oral health during pregnancy, such as brushing maybe extra time or flossing regularly. They may also want to consider using a soft bristle toothbrush and non-alcoholic mouthwash if required. And if the bleeding is excessive or persistent, then certainly they need to consult to the doctor. Now, increase in appetite is also quite often experienced as the baby is growing, and many women do experience increased appetite. And this is a very natural and necessary part of the pregnancy, as the body do need those extra nutrients to support the baby. And women really need to listen to their body at this point in time and eat whenever they are hungry. However, making healthy food choices, such as choosing sweets or candies or biscuits over not choosing all these over fruits. So really letting all these kind of the fact is that women can be the sugar cravings can be higher at this point in time. So keeping all these junk food around you can really persuade you to all have all this. Instead, having a variety of fresh fruits and maybe sweeter fruits inside the house and in your environment can really help calm down those sugar cravings, and also provides a healthy alternative to all the sugary stuff out there in the market. And at the same time, taking all those required extra nutrients from vegetables and lean proteins and whole grains is always a great idea, instead of munching on anything and everything or any kind of junk food. So we as teacher can really inspire them to focus on gaining the weight through nutrient dense foods, and also staying active during this phase, and using more grounding practices as well, and balancing practices at this point in time, as they're shifting the body weight is increasing, and their gravity their center of gravity is also shifting at this point. Difficulty sleeping is another thing that happens, and many women do start to experience difficulty in sleeping during this phase, particularly second and third trimester. In the second trimester, the difficulty in sleeping begins, and then the third trimester, it can increase a lot. So this can be due to several factors, including hormonal changes, physical discomfort, anxiety about the upcoming baby, and also the changes in the body and managing them, not being able to sleep on the back. All this can be there, and since the women are not able to sleep well, it can further lead to fatigue, irritability, and other kind of adverse effect at times on the mother's health. So women can, really try to practice gentle and restorative yoga postures before bed to promote relaxation and in the body, and calming the mind at the same time. And they may also use pillows and other props to support their growing belly and elevate any kind of physical discomfort, and maybe create some good sleep hygiene habits, such as really avoiding screens before bed, or maintaining a regular sleep schedule, or having a clean environment, putting some essential oil around their side, or putting on the humidifier, and giving some, maybe ask the partners to give them some toe massage with ghee or with some coconut oil, and then having those rituals at place, and having a colder bed. The room temperature is slightly colder than regular room temperature, so that they can, enhance their environmental support for the sleep. So all these can really enhance them, and otherwise how you spend your day, and exposing yourself to the daylight or sunlight in the morning and in the evening, prior to going, like just before ending the evening. All these are great add-ons to support your sleep structure, and really how much you're active during the day. All those factors also matters in the sleep. So taking care of the health in a proper manner from the day onwards, the way the day starts, and then ending the day very beautifully, can really help in enhancing the sleep. Round ligament pain is also another thing that is faced during this time, and that can, round ligaments that are the ligaments that support the uterus, and they can actually stretch and cause pain and discomfort in the lower abdomen at this point in time. So gentle yoga postures like butterfly pose or bridge pose can help elevate some of these pains at this point in time. Swelling is also a common symptom this time, and particularly feet and ankles can swell, and during the second trimester, due to the increased blood flow and volume and the pressure on the wings. So resting with the feet elevated can help reduce swelling, and also slight sweet massage will also really be helpful during this time. Now, digestive issues. So as the uterus expands, it can put pressure on the digestive system, leading to constipation and heartburn. So gentle yoga postures like seated twists and forward folds can really elevate digestive issues, or Pavamuktasana, or all those asanas can really be helpful for digestion during the time of pregnancy. So it's also important to modify the diet and include fiber-rich foods and avoid spicy and acidic foods that can increase heartburn in any case. So all this will be also helpful in avoiding any kind of digestive issues. Now, many women do experience boost of energy also in the second trimester, and that also makes it a great time to be more active in practices like yoga or swimming or continuous regular walking every day, and that makes because women does have that increased energy in the second trimester. Also, at the same time, the belly is not that heavy that they can't move at all. So this is the great time to enjoy as much as activity they would want to before the third trimester start, where the belly grows sometimes beyond your control, and a lot many physical activity becomes difficult. So improve posture. So maintaining a good posture also becomes essential at this point in time, as the baby's weight is also increasing. So it can really elevate, if we try to maintain a good posture consciously, that can elevate back pain and improve our breathing also. And yoga poses that focuses on strengthening the core and back muscles can really help improve the posture. So we can focus on maybe slight gentle spinal flexes to ease any kind of discomfort in the back, and that also encourage the women to keep their back straight. And while we are doing seated practices, and wherever possible, we can always remind our students to keep their back straight as much as possible. So the more they are improving and aligning, and when they are standing or sitting, when they are aligning their posture and improving their posture, that will help them breathe more properly, which is really important during pregnancy, because it becomes difficult to breathe, especially after second trimester. Now, fetal movement also is something that they begin to experience at this stage. So feeling the baby's movement is really unique and exciting experience during this time. And yoga at this stage can really help them connect to the baby a lot more. And also connecting to the baby will help the development of the baby. And we can use gentle movements and gentle breathing exercises to have a very calming effect on both mother and the baby. And one of the most exciting changes that occurs during this phase is this change where mother can first time experience the first kick or the first movement of the baby. So the more she connects, the more she will be able to know when that actually happened. It's very exciting to experience that. And as the baby will grow and become more active, many women will begin to feel more tiny kind of flutters, and number of kicks will eventually increase in the belly. And this can be really magical and awe-inspiring experience for many mothers. And it's really essential that we keep encouraging mothers to keep connecting to their body a lot more and listening to their body a lot more, so that they can notice these movements more consciously and with a lot of awareness. And so we can encourage the mothers to take time each time they experience that baby's kick or baby's movement, and then pay attention to that. And this can be done through simple mindfulness exercises and being practices that cultivate more sense of awareness in the mothers. And also we can remind them to stay more active, because that is also important, that when mothers are active, the fetals move more often, and as the pregnancy will progress, the mothers will be able to experience a lot more movements in the coming weeks and months. Now, fluid retention is also one condition that happens. It's also known as edema, and it's also a common condition that occurs during pregnancy. And it happens when excess fluids built up in the body, and that causes swelling in hands and feet and ankle. And this condition is usually more pronounced during the second trimester. And while the fluid retention can be uncomfortable, but it's typically not a cause of too much concern. However, if the mother is experiencing sudden or severe swelling, then it's time to probably visit the doctor and consult any kind of medical care required in these cases. But as teachers inside of a yoga practice, what we can do to help that is help them guide poses that can increase and promote circulations and elevate any kind of swelling from the feet. The Janu Sanchalan asanas are very good key to help mothers with fluid retention. Hemorrhoids are another common condition that can occur during the second trimester, and hemorrhoids are the swollen veins in the rectum and anus, and that can cause discomfort, pain, and bleeding. And pregnancy-related hemorrhoids can be caused by increased pressure on the rectal area due to the growing uterus. And as teachers, we can really guide the mothers to practice poses that promote pelvic floor strength and flexibility, such as pelvic tilts and squatting, which can really help any discomfort and prevent hemorrhoids. The more pelvic floor muscles are strengthened for mothers, the lesser chances will be there for hemorrhoids to occur. Mild breathlessness also can begin to start in the second trimester, and women may experience shortness of breath, and this will be due to many factors, including hormonal changes and the growing baby putting the pressure on the diaphragm. And though mild breathlessness is not really cause of concern, but it's at the end of the day, it's important to listen to the body and avoid any overexerting exercise or activity that is overexerting in any manner. And we can, as teachers, we can guide mothers to do deep breathing practices every single day, so that their body is habituated to do deep breathing consciously whenever required. And also alternative or Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama, alternative nostril breathing, can also really promote a sense of relaxation and help the mothers to regulate their breathing. Varicose vein can also occur during this stage, and particularly in legs. And varicose veins are basically enlarged and twisted veins that cause discomfort, pain, and swelling. So pregnancy-related varicose vein can be caused by hormonal changes and increased pressure on the vein due to the uterus growing. So what we can do inside of a yoga practice is suggest mothers very gentle movement and poses that can promote more blood circulation, and such as leg elevations and ankle rotations, to really help any kind of discomfort that is caused by varicose vein, or altogether prevent varicose vein with regular gentle rotations of the ankles and gentle movements in the legs. Now, abdominal itchiness is also very common as the uterus grows and expands. So the women experience that itchiness on the belly, and it's due to really the stretching of the skin that is happening. So there is a lot of pressure that happens on the muscles of the abdomen, and the skin of the abdomen area is really stretching too fast, and that can cause a lot of itchiness. And to help elevate these kind of symptoms, what we can do is, promote flexibility and circulation in the abdomen area. So we can practice gentle seated twist, and hip opener asanas can also help elevate that tension and discomfort in the abdomen area. And it's also important that we can remind the mothers to keep moisturizing their bellies regularly to soothe any kind of itching and discomfort on the belly area. It's always good idea to use natural oils, cold pressed oils, which are a great source of fat. Specifically, sesame seed oils are sesame oil, which is cold pressed, is a great idea to use to massage gently, very, very gently on the skin of the abdomen area, because the fatty acid that it has, it compensates for the stretch marks and also the skin stretching, and it just gives quite a good comfort at the same time. Also, using a belly belt which supports the belly can also really help avoid any quick jerks that might happen, and that would cause more stretching of the skin or sudden stretching of the skin. So that can help avoid that. Now, leg cramps is also a very common issue during this time, and these cramps can occur due to the changes in the blood flow and pressure on the nerves in the legs. And so inside of yoga, we can really help them with, again, similar kind of postures that promote circulation and flexibility, and gentle forward seated folds or gentle stretching of the hamstring and calf muscles can help with the leg cramps. And we can also remind the mothers to stay hydrated and avoid standing for too long or sitting for too long. Now, clumsiness is another experience that mother goes through, and sometimes there can be lack of coordination also. And this is also due to many factors, including changes in the posture, the weight distribution is now not the same anymore, the hormonals are changing in the mother's body. So all of these changes can cause a lack of coordination and clumsiness. So with certain yoga postures that promote stability and focus, like tree pose or warrior pose, all the poses that improves balancing and concentration can really help with this condition. And additionally, we can include mindfulness and self-awareness practices that can help the mother to be more attuned with their bodies and the body's movement, and reduce clumsiness and enhance overall coordination in the body. Now let's see what kind of emotional changes that occurs at this point in time. So some of the most common emotional changes during this time includes unstable emotions, forgetfulness, increased thoughts of delivery, pain, etc. So coming on to unstable emotion. So some women do experience a lot of instability in emotion, and this can be due to many factors. First is hormonal changes, physical discomfort, anxiety about the upcoming birth. So all of this can contribute to unstable emotions. And as teachers, we can really support mothers by creating a safe and supportive environment to be able to express their emotions at this point in time. And we can guide the mothers to practice poses and relaxation techniques that will promote emotional stability, and such as restorative postures and deep breathing practices does have that power to restore their emotional balance. And we can also at the same time encourage the mothers to talk about their emotions and provide any additional resources for emotional support or emotional help that they might need from you, if you can provide, or maybe if they should consult someone else who can really help them with providing some extra emotional support at this point in time. Now, forgetfulness is another common emotion emotional change that occurs at this point in time, and it can be due to hormonal changes that affects the memory and concentration. So the way we can help the mother to improve their memory and concentration is by guiding more mindfulness meditation practices and practices that can help them improve focus and reduce distraction. And we can encourage the mothers to write down their things and create reminders for themselves, so that will help them to decrease some of the mental pressure that they unnecessarily put on to remind just day-to-day tasks, etc. So just unloading their mind with stuff and creating systems around themselves that can support them to deal with this more effectively. Now, increased number of thoughts of delivery pain and fear or anxiousness about delivery can also be there at this point in time, and this is increased due to the birthing time coming near, and they are now reading a lot more stories and gathering a lot more information from internet about how the delivery happens, how much pain we have to go through, etc., etc. So all of this can build up that kind of anxiety and fears on mothers. So we can really help them by educating them on the birthing process and providing any additional resources and information or guidance that they might need to gain more confidence on the birthing process. And we can, at the same point in time, give them more confidence with the help of relaxation techniques and postures to guide them, that this will help them in their pregnancy as well as delivery journey. And we can also encourage the mothers to attend kind of childbirth education classes and speak to their doctors or their healthcare provider whenever required, if they are being too anxious about their delivery, etc. Now let's look into what kind of changes the baby is going through. So during the second trimester of pregnancy, the baby really undergoes rapid physical changes and growth. And by the end of second trimester, the baby weighs around 1.5 pounds and measures around 14 to 16 inches long. And some of the key physical changes that occurs during this phase would be, first will be development of senses. So by the end of second trimester, the baby's senses are well developed, and baby can hear sounds outside the womb and may sounds coming from the outside womb, and also may respond to music or voices. And baby's taste buds are also developing, and they may experience to start to swallow amniotic fluid, and in kind of preparation for feeding from out when they come outside the womb, they want to be prepared how to feed. So they kind of learn to suck at this point in time and begin to swallow some of the amniotic fluid. And formation of organs continues at this point in time, and the organs begin to develop more and mature more at this point in time. Now the heart is fully formed and pumping the blood, while the lungs are developing and practicing breathing movements. So the increase in the moment also occurs at this point in time. So as the baby really grows and develops, they become very active in the womb, and by the end of second trimester, the baby may be moving and kicking very, very regularly, which can be a source of a lot of joy and excitement for the mothers. So some of the critical facts about the baby development during the second trimester would be around, let's say, by week 16, the fetus grows about 18 centimeters and weighs around 200 grams. And at this stage, the baby develops more defined features such as eyebrow, eyelashes, fingernails, and the baby also begins to move and kick, as we discussed. And by the week 24, the baby grows to about 22 centimeters and weighs around 700 grams. At this stage, the baby is again more active and can respond to external stimulations like sound and light. And the mother may also begin to feel the movement at this stage, and which can enhance connection and bonding between mother at this point in time. And by the end of the second trimester, which is around about 28 weeks, the baby is around 36 centimeters and weighs about 1100 grams. And at this stage, the baby is nearly fully developed and can begin to focus on gaining weight and growing stronger. And the mother at this point in time may feel more discomfort due to the growing size of the baby and the uterus, which can in turn impact some of her emotional state. But really, the baby is now at a stage where most of the essential organs are fully formed. Now he or she can just focus on developing and gaining weight and developing further into fully mature infant. Now let's connect to understand the kind of emotional changes that occurs in the baby at this point in time. So while it can be challenging to really understand the emotional state of a developing baby, but there have been a lot of many research that suggests that babies do develop emotionally in the womb itself. And some of the dynamic changes that might occur in the second trimester is first is increased awareness. So as the baby's senses have developed, they may become more aware of their surroundings, and this can impact their emotional state and level of arousal. Now, emotional responses also increase. So there have been research that suggests that babies can experience a range of emotional responses, including pleasure and pain and stress at this point in time. And the baby may also be able to detect their mother's emotional state through chemical and hormonal signals at this point in time. Now, next emotional changes that occurs in the baby is bonding with the mother at this stage. So by the end of second trimester, the baby may be able to recognize their mother's voice and respond to her touch. And this can be a really great source of emotional bonding between the mom and the baby. Now, let's come on to the important points that we need to keep in mind while practicing yoga in the second trimester. So, as the body continues to go through constant changes and adapting through the pregnancy during the second trimester, the basic essential things that we need to modify during this stage will be, first avoiding to lie down on the back. That is the first and the foremost things that we need to start focusing or pressing upon too much at this point in time. As the uterus has expanded this point by this time, and it can put a lot of pressure on vena cava, which is a major blood vessels. We have discussed about this in many different chapters, but I'm again stressing upon this because it's very crucial that we have to avoid lying down on our back, especially beginning the second trimester, and that becomes very crucial. As if we put too much pressure on the vena cava for extended period, it can cause dizziness, shortness of breath, and nausea for the mothers. So it's really essential that while practicing yoga postures also, we either avoid lying down on our back or not do that for more than a minute or two, particularly in second and the third trimester. So we also need to modify twist at this point in time, and as the baby is growing and the abdomen becomes more sensitive and can be easily compressed. So the twist can, if we do twist unconsciously, then that might involve compressing the stomach too much, and that can be harmful. So we need to be very gentle while practicing seated twist or revolved triangle kind of postures, which can be either revolved triangle can be completely avoided, and it should. And if we are practicing seated twist, then it has to be very, very gentle and only up to the comfort zone of mothers. And we need to also avoid any kind of deep back bends. While slight back bends can open the chest and strengthen the back muscles, but deep back bends at the same point in time can put pressure on the abdomen muscles and can cause discomfort. So we really need to guide the mothers to avoid any kind of deep back bends. And postures like wheel pose are completely no during this phase, and we need to avoid it completely. We can also use props like blocks and postures at this point in time to support the mothers, and we can always offer them to use pillows when they're lying down on their side and put them in between their legs whenever there are postures that require them to lie down on their side. Now we can practice standing postures, and practicing standing postures like warrior postures, triangle, all those can be practiced safely in second trimester. And these postures at the same time can improve balance, strength and circulation and sense of grounding and stability for the mothers. We can also focus on relaxation at this point in time, where there have been immense amount of hormonal changes that the mom is going through, and it is also constantly impacting her emotional state. So adding constant relaxation postures, restorative postures in between will really help her calm down and relax during the yoga session also. And at the end of the day, we have to keep reminding the mothers to listen to their body, as each pregnancy is unique for every mother, and it's really essential that they continue to listen to their body to keep the yoga practice as safe and as comfortable as possible. So we as teachers need to constantly encourage the mothers to communicate any kind of discomfort or concerns that they might have during their yoga practice. Now, understanding the focus and the intention of the practice during the second trimester. So now that the baby is growing, so we need to focus on to connect with the growing baby, and our practices in yoga can be a very powerful tool for mothers to connect to their babies, and we can continue to encourage the mothers to focus on the bond with the baby, and with every sentence that we are creating, even if we are putting them into any asana where they have to maybe stay for a few breaths, then we can always ask them to, now you can take a moment to connect with the baby. All your verbal cues can really guide them towards connecting with the baby a lot more at this point in time. Focusing on the breath awareness also becomes very of very much importance at this point in time, as breathlessness is a common symptom at this point in time. So focusing on the breath becomes very much important, and being aware of breath becomes very important for the mothers at this point in time. And we can always encourage the mothers to do mindful breathing practices, and even when they are at home, then continue to practice pranayama once or twice during the day. This can help them really manage their physical discomfort and emotional stress also at the same time. We also need to focus on creating strength and stability for the mom. So as the baby is growing and uterus is expanding, which can continue to cause a lot of discomfort and instability in the body, so we can encourage the moms to practice more of the poses that will cultivate strength and stability, especially postures, which includes like standing postures, all the balancing poses, triangle, warrior poses. Since we cannot do core practices like planks, etc., but still balancing postures and goddess postures, all these postures can still bring some amount of strength and stability to the body. And Promoting relaxation also continues to be the focus during this phase, and since hormonal shifts and physical shifts are bringing a lot of emotional changes also in the mom's body, so we need to encourage the mothers to continue to practice relaxation techniques like yoga nidra and mindfulness meditation. All this can really help them prepare their body even for upcoming childbirth, and we can use specific yoga nidra which are designed to promote release any kind of anxiousness and fear around the childbirth. So anything that is disturbing them, we can either modify the yoga nidra practice, or we can use existing practices that will help them relax. Now, fostering acceptance and gratitude also becomes quite important at this stage, since mothers are going through a lot of mixed emotional state at this point in time, and really trying to adjust to all the changes that are happening to their mind and body. So if we promote them, if we encourage them to practice more of sense of acceptance and gratitude in their day-to-day lives, and have a lot of acceptance for all the changes that are occurring in their body and looks, and also having a lot of gratitude for the fact that the baby is growing well, everything is healthy. This can really promote a sense of positivity and empowerment during this transformative time for the mother. We can also take some time with mothers at times, to really help them honor their body. So when they learn to honor their body, as they can really embrace being there in the moment and all the kind of changes that are occurring in the body. And since every pregnancy is very unique, and every mother's experience is also very unique, so they need to honor all the changes, all the sickness, all the changes that are occurring. So not every woman will be going through all the conditions, but some women will be going through different kind of difficult situations in the pregnancy. So honoring their body and understanding that it's not the time to compete, it's not the time to really show each other that I can do this asana better, so it's not that. It's time to honor their body. You don't know, we don't know, only the mother knows that she's going through a certain way of life, or the changes in the body. So she only needs to understand her body a lot more and honor her own personal needs, and she needs to keep safety and comfort at her topmost priority while practicing yoga. So practicing yoga with that kind of sense and intention will be really, really helpful for the mothers at this point in time. So just looking at the journal rules quickly once again. So during the second trimester, certain asanas, pranayama, mantras, bandhas, and kriyas should be avoided, modified, or practiced with caution to really ensure safety of the mothers and growing. So as teachers, we really need to be aware of these practices and to guide our students accordingly. So some of the asanas, pranayamas, bandhas, and kriyas that should or should not be practiced during second trimester would be, for example, we've already discussed avoiding deep back bends since the baby is putting a lot of pressure already and we don't want to put harm. So camel pose, even anyway we are avoiding cobra pose, so that's not even in the list, but still we have to be aware of all the poses that we should drop in the second trimester. So if we will go through the asana list and one by one see videos for each asana, you would know that some postures are not to be done in the second trimester or based on certain medical conditions for the women. So avoiding deep twist and compressing abdomen is in any manner should be avoided at all times, and we need to keep in mind and focus of the fact that the baby is now growing, and we should not do any jerking movements at any point in time. We can continue to practice gentle hip opening asanas, and as the baby is growing and putting a lot of pressure on the hips and pelvis, so gentle hip opening asanas like goddess pose or bound angle pose can really help elevate any kind of discomfort and prepares the mother's body for childbirth also. Standing asanas, we have discussed, like all the balancing asanas, warrior, triangle, tree, etc., will continue to strengthen her body and improve blood circulation and give her a sense of grounding. And pranayamas that promote relaxation and calming effect will always be the first focus and encouraged to at this point in time. We need to avoid retention of breathing at any point in time. So yoga does have a practice called kumbhaka, which is breath retention, and we need to avoid it completely at this point in time. We cannot afford to do any kind of breath retention practice during the second trimester, because it can be really harmful for the baby and can put a lot of undue stress on the baby, and can also harm development in many manners. We can continue to use powerful mantras that will help the mother to connect with baby, and cultivate any sense of calm or positivity around pregnancy at this point in time. And we can encourage the mothers to practice maybe Om 21 times a day. That will help her improve her focus and connection with the baby. We need to avoid bandhas, so we can start avoiding Uddiyana Bandha, which is like the belly lock, or Uddiyana Bandha, which is the diaphragm lock, and we can look at also Jalandhar Bandha, which is neck lock. So neck lock can also sometimes lead to breath retention. So all of that should be really removed from the practice, and it can cause a lot of stress again on the mothers and developing babies. So all of that should be avoided. Now, some of the kriyas that are part of yoga otherwise, but has to be avoided. Now, Kapalbhati kriya is also one of that. It's sometimes also considered a pranayama, which is heating pranayama, which requires a lot of fast breathing. So Kapalbhati has to be avoided during the entire pregnancy. All the heating pranayamas have to be avoided during the entire pregnancy phase, and we will have detailed instruction in the pranayama chapter, but just letting you know that these are harmful practice. All the heating pranayamas. Bastrika Kriya is also not something that we can practice during the pregnancy phase. Now, with that, hope this was helpful and really help with knowing the conditions of the mothers in their second trimesters. And with this information, you will continue to support the mothers in their pregnancy journey and provide them a very safe, sound, protective, calming and relaxing yoga practice. With that, thank you and namaste.